Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Paris Air Show at this historic airfield in Le Bourget outside the French capital. Our coverage here is sponsored by Bell and Leonardo DRS, and we're here on the Martin Baker stand as part of the UK Pavilion, and it's our honor to have with us the Minister for Defense Procurement for the United Kingdom, Stuart Andrew, apparently the only Conservative member of Parliament not currently running for Prime Minister, so it's great seeing you, sir.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I mean, this is already a very exciting show, so it's great to be here, and I look forward to seeing what's on offer through the rest of the day.
Absolutely, it's a very, very brisk schedule, and I know that you're going on to some meetings, so we appreciate the time with us. Fighter renaissance is going on in Europe right now. F-35 nations are getting their aircraft, including the United Kingdom, which is going to be the largest European operator of the jets. At the same time, you have the Tempest program that was launched in secret some years ago, but became public about a year ago, £2 billion effort in order to help maintain the primacy of UK aerospace. At the same time, you have the French, Germans, and Spanish who are going to unveil their aircraft as part of the SCAF program. Talk to us about what the UK intention is with Tempest. Is it to be a bargaining chip in negotiations for a broader SCAF program? Is it a national investment program where you're trying to get partners around your jet? Or is it just a great technology development program at the end of the day?
Well, look, the United Kingdom has a long and proud history when it comes to aviation, and last year we had an amazing year celebrating 100 years of the Royal Air Force. And what we're looking at is how do we maintain the expertise and the technology that we have in the UK that we've developed over many, many years and take it on to the next generation. And that is exactly what the sort of future combat air strategy is all about. It's working with industry to ensure that we develop the technologies that we have that we can put on the Typhoon, but also take it on to the next aircraft, whatever that may be. But we also recognise that this is about building up international partnerships too, because actually making sure that we develop this in partnership with many of our allies is going to be incredibly important. So this is an exciting time for the UK air industry, and we are working well with industry at the moment.
Do you want to give us a preview on what the big announcement at the Air Tattoo is going to be next month?
That's a nice try, but you'll have to wait until you get there.
Very good. We're willing to make the trip even without knowing that. The government's pledged £2 billion towards this program when it was launched last year at the Farnborough International Air Show. Where are you on that investment stream? Because oftentimes grand statements don't get quite matched by the resources.
Well, I mean, we have those main industry partners that we're working with at the moment, but more importantly, we're now trying to expand that. So very recently, I was at a conference where we had over 100 small and medium-sized businesses who work in the aviation industry, in the aviation sector, talking about the sort of opportunities that will exist as part of this project, and telling them how they can get engaged with that, because we do want this to be very much a sort of national exercise. And as I go around the UK, I see all sorts of technologies and innovation happening that can well develop our future needs to defend our country. So it is about using that money to engage with business, to offer opportunities for people to come up with the new technologies that will be part of our future aircraft.
Are there any limits to the partners? For example, US and UK have been very, very good industrial partners over the decades. Is there a role, for example, for US industry? Because I know Italy is part of this project. I know Swedes are interested in it, although Sweden does have its own development project with the Gripen E. How open and wide a net are you casting on the program?
Well, part of what we're doing is engaging with international partners that we work with closely anyway, because of course what we want is interoperability. These are our allies, we'll be flying with them, and we want to make sure that we take the best advantage we can of those very strong and powerful partnerships. So we are having discussions with governments from across the globe, and we will continue to do so.
Give me a quick update on the Type 26. Tremendous win, Britain, Canada, Australia now on the program, but a very aggressive schedule to get ships into the Royal Navy as well as the other navies on a very tight schedule. How's the program doing right now from your perspective? Are you going to meet time and cost targets?
Look, everything is being done to ensure that we get this fantastic new ship into the water on time and on budget. And we have a partnership happening with government, with industry, to ensure that that happens. And we are very confident and that's what helped us win those competitions in both Australia and in Canada. And we would love to see the United States come and have a look at what we have to offer, because this is actually clearly, by the comments that we've received from both Australia and Canada, this is a ship of great ability. And I'm very proud of the fact that the first one is being built now up in Glasgow.
Is the United States receptive, because its frigate program has been operating on its own schedule? Have you had conversations with U.S. leaders on the program?
We are constantly in conversation with our allies around the world, and we will continue to ensure that we make sure that we push this, because I'm very proud of what we've got. This is a fantastic frigate. It is something that I really do believe is important for Five Eyes nations. So I will continue to press my American colleagues whenever I get the opportunity.
It's an amazing ship. Let me take you to the question of industrial strategy, though. Britain was able to win Type 26 because of the massive investment on the carrier program, cutting-edge manufacturing, incredible technology that are going into those ships, world-beating for their size and their capability, and reasonable through-life cost. At the same time, some people found it in Congress that Britain went to Korea, for example, for its auxiliary ships, or opening the Type 31, the lower-end version of the frigate class, to German competition. At the same time, Britain and France are partnered on a new mine hunter. What's the British government's shipbuilding national strategy that's going to ensure domestic shipbuilding capability as you look decades forward, just as you're doing, for example, with Tempest?
Well, I think the first thing to say is that we do now have a national shipbuilding strategy, and that is to ensure that we maintain the skills and expertise that we have in the United Kingdom to have that sort of shipbuilding, the shipbuilding skills that will help us into the future. And that's why we've now been able to provide the Clyde shipyard with over 20 years worth of work thanks to this Type 26. We're running a British competition for the Type 31. But yes, we will look at international competition too, because what that provides us with is the capability that we need that brings value for the taxpayer. But it also provides a huge opportunity for the UK supply chain, because what I've been hearing is that the dealings that they've had, say, with the supply chain had with the Korean shipyard, has meant that their business has expanded because they're now winning more and more international orders. So this is looking at not just building the ship hull, which we are, as I say, we've got 20 years worth of work. We're looking at a proper drumbeat of ships that will be needed, but it's also crucially looking at how do we make sure that wider supply chain maximizes the opportunity they have and become as competitive as possible.
Two last quick questions. One, the Dreadnought program has been delayed, the replacement for the Vanguard-class ballistic nuclear submarines. The Royal Navy has always tried to avoid another refueling, which will be £500 million for a ship that won't stay in service that long. How do you maintain the consistent national strategic deterrence while at the same time avoiding a potentially expensive overhaul? How are you going to thread that needle?
Well, if I may respectfully just correct you, the Dreadnought program is actually on budget and on time, and we have an alliance working together from the Ministry of Defence, from industry partners, to ensure that we look at every single aspect of this project. It is an enormous project. It is very complex, but we have amongst the best people on this job. I've been up there myself to see the work that's going on. It is superb. And I'm very confident that we'll be delivering that capability as we have promised by 2030.
It's a tremendous name, by the way. Very, very well done on that. Last question. There is a concern that the British defence budget is pegged to 2% of GDP. On the other hand, there are those who say, So is the defense budget pegged to 2% of GDP, or are you going to be growing in real terms on the budget ultimately? Because there's a big difference between those two.
Indeed. Well, we have always said that 2% is a minimum. It is not a ceiling. And what we have seen in the recent budget announcements, we've had an extra £1.8 billion given to the Defence Department from the Treasury. We are also raising the defence budget by a half a percentage point above inflation every single year during this Parliament. But we are about to go into a spending review, so this is the chance for us as a department to continue to make that case. But I feel very confident because in the autumn statement that the Chancellor made, he said that defence will be one of the key areas that we need to look at for investment, and we will be doing everything we can because these are challenging and difficult times. You know, the security situation around the world is complex, and it is important that we maintain a strong defence in the United Kingdom so that we can play our part with our international partners, but also do our bit to keep the world safe.
You mentioned the spending review. One follow-up. Do you have a list of wants? So if you were going to get more money, what do you want to spend it on? If you have to cut money, what would you trade away?
One thing I don't do is give away my negotiating hand, so I'm not going to tell you what's on the list and what isn't on the list, but all I can tell you is we're going to fight hard to ensure that we get that money that we need for defence so that our armed forces, who do a fantastic job in protecting our country, who put their lives in danger for the sake of our freedom, get the equipment that they rightly deserve.
Stuart Andrew, Minister for Defence Procurement of the United Kingdom. Always a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you again soon, either in London or Fairford.
Please, you'll always be welcome.
Thank you.